what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men, to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in and join the conversation on The Wrecking Trade. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of men and boys in the Cayman Islands. Welcome to The Wrecking Trade, the radio show that provides a platform for a deeper understanding of issues affecting men in the Cayman Islands. Join us as we explore the low enrollment of men and boys in college classrooms, the absence of men in the church, and the absence of fathers in the home. Join the conversation as we help men find their place in the modern world. Through engaging interviews with experts and members of the community, we provide a clear picture of what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men, to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in and join the conversation on The Wrecking Trade. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of men and boys in the Cayman Islands. Welcome to The Wrecking Trade. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Wrecking Trade, where we dive into issues affecting men. That's masculinity, male accountability, and responsibility. Remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. The like button is not just the way that you give us a thumbs up, it's how we let YouTube know that this conversation matters. And if this conversation matters to you, do two things for me. In addition to hitting the like button, send it to someone who you think it may be of value to. And of course, please make a comment. That's how we help the algorithm to pick it up and share it with other persons like you, so that they too can benefit from the conversations we have here. And with that, let us dive into today's conversation. Welcome back, Connie.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here.
Yes.
That was exciting.
Yes, man. We had such a wonderful time last time. And I got so much feedback all through the weekend and into this week. Persons were telling me how they enjoyed the interaction, they enjoyed the engagement. And one person said they really enjoyed Connie because even as you were triggered, you didn't stay there. You came and you worked it through, and they really appreciated how you navigated the situation. So welcome back.
All right, let's see what happens tonight.
All right, today we're diving into the conversation, and today's conversation is centered around how women beat men into submission. Yes, but from the perspective of what are the tools that they use, because women don't punch men in the face and do all that stuff, right? So what are the tools that they use to beat men into submission, and then what is the effect of that on the relationship? So we have a video for you from this wonderful person. As throughout this conversation, we've been finding more and more allies, more persons who are getting into the space and sharing their thoughts. And I came across this wonderful lady who sharing those 5 tips. And with that, Madam Producer, give thanks to our producer, Miss Lady Ellie G at the controls. Thank you. Roll that video.
I'm going to go over the top 5 ways that we withhold as women. So what do we withhold? What do we withhold as women when we feel our husbands are not living up to who they were supposed to be to make us feel those romantic feelings of love? The main things we withhold, and again, this is conscious and malicious and purposeful denial of what we know is, one, just part of a healthy relationship, and also what's important to our husbands as good men. So the number one thing that we withhold, and I imagine everyone in the chat could type this in right now, I'm not going to look, but you would type in the number one thing that a woman withholds in a relationship or a marriage. And the number one thing that we withhold is sex. We use sex as a weapon, that when we feel that we are not being loved and made to feel loved, and those unreasonable expectations, we withhold sex. And we can withhold sex by stopping having sex altogether. We can also withhold sex by not being present in sex and treating sex as a chore, sex as a burden of something that we have to do for our husbands, but we are like dead fish. And there's no engagement, and we're not there. And that is also withholding. Number 2.
So, right there,
The second.
she comes out the gate, guns blazing, sex. What do you think about that one? And I mean, I know here this is set against the backdrop of my head is hurting, all of these things. But she says it's withholding. It's a tool used for control. What are your thoughts?
Well, I do know that we tend to go there firstly. We tend to go there firstly. But I want to say, and I don't want to come off being defensive. I'm looking at the fact that on the foundation of a healthy marriage
Yes.
is love. And within love, there's no desire for control. You know what I mean? Because we're talking about submission.
Yes.
So submission should look healthy. And I do know that men and women, they have their different dynamics. Men, they go by sights. Women, we are by words that we feel in our minds. So just as she says, you know, if there are some expectations that we're having and we're not feeling loved, we're not, you know, the expectations that we're having are not being met, the first go-to is like, okay, boom. Because in reality, how do you, and this is in a form of a question, how do you share that intimacy when your mind is not, available? You know what I mean? And then mind you know, I don't want women to think it is okay. You get what I mean? Because that's not what I'm saying. Because I'm saying now, from a healthy marriage, there's no look for control. So we should not be looking to control by using the intimacy and saying, "But I give no sex." But as well, men need to understand as well, the mind is what the woman works with. So if you want to get the sex and I say, okay, I'm going to give it to you, then I, like she says, I'm going to be a dead fish. Because guess why? My mind isn't into it. Now, from we spoke last week, we are giving to receive and vice versa,
Yes.
the rotation. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's an interesting. I know this one is tricky and it's touchy, but if we start off with, hey, we're having this conversation from the context, we're coming from the church and we understand what God says. Hey, first up, when you get married, it's a contract, and that contract looks like, guess what? Both of you have decided to be married. Hey, sex is on the table,
Of course.
and neither of you should withhold from each other. That's what the Bible says, right? So that's what. So we put that over there and we say, okay, fine. We have this contract in place. There are certain, separate and apart from the contract about sex, there are certain expectations from both of us. So when the light bill, the mortgage, all those things need to be paid, I can't just wake up one day and say, well, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like going to work, right? If your husband, boyfriend comes in and says, I don't feel like working anymore, I'm just going to hang out and chill because it's just hard. What do you say to him?
Okay.
Yeah, you give him the look.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so there's that expectation that he has responsibilities, you know, the things that need to be done on his side, they need to get done. I don't care how you feel about it. Certainly, if I can rub your head and make it work a little bit better, but you have a responsibility to get that done because that's how you provide that protection, that provision that is required from you. So, in the same way, many men go, but that's the contract. I need to do my part and you need to do your part. But why is it then okay for you to go, my mind is not in it, so let's not do it, and then let's not do it this night, turn into this week, turn into this month, and then before you know it, we've gone a year and no sex, and we're going, what's going on?
Okay, but
Who? So who has the responsibility there? Is it I that need to sweet you up, or you that need to recognize this is not right and work at something? And that's what we're looking at here.
okay, so if we're looking on the premise then that we are in a healthy marriage, on that premise, boom, agreed. But if I'm looking at the man that decides and says, you know what, I can talk to Connie anyway without any respect. And because I'm a man, I'm the head of the home, I come in whenever, you know, because of course, you know, this is my abode, I come whenever. Okay, I am feeling neglected, not included, but you come to me now when you want to soak your oats, when you want that intimacy.
Yes.
And I'm expected then, based upon our contract, that I should just, and to hell with how I'm feeling.
And that's a fair position. And so you're right. If both of us need to be working on something there to make sure that there's healthy. But what I'm talking about here is not to that there. We're talking about in the healthy situation.
In the healthy
Like, your head are hurt
okay.
you, but your head's been hurting you for the last 3 months.
Well, this is the thing. I don't think
Or I presume that
yeah.
we're healthy.
I mean, we're still doing and we're still running out.
Right, okay.
But we
based on the presumption that we're healthy.
yes.
Yeah, I mean,
And of course, healthy is relative because all of us have problems.
of course,
Yes.
most definitely, we're human beings. There's
Yes.
nothing perfect.
There we go.
And I totally agree to the fact that when you and I decide that we are going to come into this relationship, we are no longer singular. And we now know that the responsibility of our partner's happiness is our responsibility. So if we are coming from that place that I must make Robert happy, that's my responsibility to do my best to
Yes.
ensure that your time on earth with me, because I'm now connected
Yes.
to you, will be a good one. Wearing the angels will say we couldn't even do better. She did all
Yes.
she can, and then vice versa. Your responsibility is my happiness. What I think we fail to understand is if we include each other, sex does not become a chore because me can't wait.
That's right.
And you know what I've learned, you know, I choke my business out there, you know. But when you learn together and you take, you know, you say, "Babe, what if we do so? And we do so." And if it becomes a thing that sex is enjoyable and that we don't use it as a weapon. Amazing.
And I loved how you framed it from the perspective of what if when we get into these relationships, our job is to outdo each other. If I can love you more than you can love me.
You can't love me like how me love you.
Listen.
Show me that.
And we are compete.
Hey.
I say, watch
I'm
your
a
mega
turning African,
sweetheart.
you know, Hey.
Watch your mega sweetheart today. And she watch your mega sweet him today. And we're looking for those opportunities to just bring that little extra spark to the other person.
I do know, Robert, that when a man feels even at his lowest and he knows within himself, if the bills are piling up and I just lost my job, I can come home and Connie's not going to berate me. She's not going to say, "Well, me not cook no food." She's not going to do that. You see a transformed human being who, despite the challenges, will do everything, even to cut off his right arm, to ensure the environment is a happy one. And I believe if we push there, understanding that our accountability does not lie to each of us, it lies with who created us.
That's right.
Whether you believe in God or not, the responsibility is yours to ensure that the limited time we have here is a happy one.
Absolutely. If we can, and I mean, expanding it beyond sex and beyond the male-female dynamic, if we believe that, hey, guess what? My purpose here in life is to say, when I walk into a room, when I get engaged with someone, it is to offer them something, to make their life just a little bit easier, a little bit better. Whether you give them a smile, you give them something. And then if you operate with that perspective, then you bring that into the relationship and you say, this person who is closer to me than anyone else, then I must give them more than everyone else. And so just like you said, even if you were off a thought to be, hey, you know what, I'm going to try to do my best and get into the dead fish mentality, you might get, no. My partner wouldn't enjoy that. So I can't give him dead fish. All right, what do I need to do? All right, maybe we can have a conversation and you say, baby, my head is not in it completely, you know, but this is how you can help me. Run me a bath, massage my foot, do something. So now you've given him, yes, man. Listen, what is he going to?
He's going to go over and
Because
beyond,
he sees you working with him, and now he's going to be working with you, and you're working together because it's about us.
And the key thing is, you know, is that communication.
Yes.
You get me?
Yes.
Understanding, because submission in itself is a form of compromise. It's not saying, "Oh, well, I'm subservient," or "He's the head." It's not that. It is coming together at a place to ensure we both are happy and not using demonic elements to create havoc. And one of those demonic elements is as we terms it in Jamaica, lock shop, mind you know, on the premise that we are good.
Lock, you said it already, Connie, you
Yes.
can't pull it back.
No,
Lock
me not.
shop is demonic.
Yes, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we're coming on the premise that we are in a healthy marriage. Not a perfect marriage.
Oh yes, because I want to
manage
manage that, because someone can say I didn't have a good day right today, or we had an argument last night, so we're not healthy right now.
No.
These things are not things that yes. If we have an argument or we have problems in a healthy situation, the goal is to how do we
work,
resolve this? How do we
right.
work through this? Because I love that you brought submission. Let's connect it to God, the source. We submit ourselves to God, the creator, the person who spoke, and out of his mouth came the son. Right? But in that submission, he's also taught us about servant leadership. When Jesus gets down and washes the disciples' feet, the Bible says that he loved us so much that he died, gave up his life so that he can come and save us. So that submission helps you to know that this person that you're submitting to loves you.
Right.
And even when things don't look straight, because many Christians have died because of their love, but even when things don't look right, you say all things work to the good of those who love the Lord and are called to his purpose. We've made this marriage covenant, and so even if things don't look right now, we know why we made the marriage covenant, and so we're going to work at it, work through it, so that we can get to that place where submission feels nice, and there's no sex withholding.
No.
Because it is about giving into each other.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's the first one.
That's the first one. Sweet.
All right. Let's see what else, what other ways may be used. So, and we're unpacking these so that we can recognize them, and even if, because sometimes someone, just like you said, the withholding sex, I wasn't doing it intentionally, but if we go a week and a month and 3 months,
Yeah, it becomes a trend, you know?
we
be
really
very
need to
hard
look
to
at
get
it.
back.
That headache needs surgery.
Yeah, definitely. Pain management. Yes, definitely.
Madam Produce.
That we withhold is affection, and different than sex. Affection is rubbing your husband's neck while he's driving, you know.
I'm a playful person, so I definitely know how that goes. And if you don't water a plant, after a while you start to see the leaves turning brown, which is a sign that death is on the way.
Yes.
You see what I mean? If you don't feed a person, if you the affection, they dry up.
Yes.
And that's how you get dead fish from both sides too.
From both sides.
You know what I mean? So affection is God's promises are his affection, you know. I'll never leave you nor forsake you. That's him, that's it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if you can say to your husband, you know, I'm so glad you came into my life. Then again, if getting to know the person beforehand, you know their love language.
Yes.
Is it notes? Sending messages? Is it popping up with lunch? You know them little thing there. You know what gets to your husband. So you know, well, you know what? I'm just going to tell him I'm coming for lunch, and I show up in the laundry in the car. I'm like, honey, you know,
what one?
you know, and you know, you tell him, slap him like this. When she pinch me, I go slap, slap him on the butt and say, boy, you look good, you know. You know when you tell them that, you know. Oh my goodness, because I know that if I can cook, which I can, I choose not to do it often. But let's say you can't cook. And the wife cooks something for you, right? You cook callaloo. For instance, the woman cook the callaloo. Lacks the salt. It no good. But the man chooses to say, honey, boy, I used to go to corner and buy callaloo. But for your callaloo beat, corner callaloo, Do you know that she's gonna now try to find ways to cook callaloo till it becomes perfect? Why? You have fed into her. And so women need to feed their men. They too, not because they're strong and they're leaders. Leaders need uplifting. You see, Jesus, when he was in the garden, he needed uplifting.
He needed some uplifting.
So men need the uplifting. Tell them good things.
And as you mentioned, the callaloo, you can't cook. The premise is you can't cook. So understanding that, hey, there was great value in you even attempting to cook the callaloo. And so recognizing that on the other side too, to say that, hey, there are many things that may be going wrong at this moment. Maybe the man didn't get it right. Maybe there are some things on your mind. But how do you find the good things that you can affirm so that you can pour a little bit of, hey, appreciate the effort. I appreciate, so you can encourage the direction.
Yes.
I love it.
Because you are not at his workplace. So you don't know if he has a co-worker that is becoming a trial. You don't know how they're interacting with the boss. Today's body doesn't feel good, and he's still going out there. The effort to do these things, to face the world, to make you comfortable, to make the home comfortable. When he comes home, he needs that comfort too. I need to take off the lion mask that I have on when I'm facing the world, and I just want to be the lamb, and I'm coming home to you. And so tell him, show him how glad you are that he came home safe. It wasn't in an accident. He survived the day. This could be in many ways. Running him the bath before, calling baby, how far are you? Are you close? So you set up your little things. And men love surprises. Love when you set that ambiance of respect, which comes in so many, and it don't need no money.
None.
It just needs your mind and your heart to be in the right place to say, I need to water him daily so that he can be a green tree that is planted by the rivers of water.
And that's powerful, and powerful in two directions. You talked about the idea of, yes, the hard and the struggle and the things that he's going through, but sometimes the devil sets up some traps, Sometimes the devil that co-worker is not a trial. Sometimes she's trying to be bait. Sometimes she's trying to cook some callaloo too.
I know.
And he has to go in hungry to resist that callaloo and then come back to you to complain.
Aye.
Listen,
That's
because you
true.
have good men who are trying to be good men in the church, and you have bait out there that are trying to
reel
entice
him in,
them.
of course.
And so recognizing that, some women are triggered and they say, if he want to go on, make him go on. But the idea here is that you are not just a gift to your husband, you're also his protection.
Exactly. I love that you said that, because I think a lot of women don't realize that they are the army,
Yes.
in the home, So you that expect to say, well, all right, I the man, but in reality, women, we are the warrior, So we are protecting him mentally.
Yes.
Physically. You would think, say, how am I going to protect him physically? By ensuring he's healthy. Baby, smoothie.
Yes.
Come
Healthy,
get your
strong.
vitamin. You this, you that, cut out that, and I'm going to help you to change.
As you prepare the meal,
Yes.
you are enriching and
Right.
all of the
Everything.
nutrients to make sure that he is.
So,
And then
want
the
women-
love that you're pouring into him, that
Oh
is,
my
you're
gosh.
strengthening his mind so he
Yes.
can face the dragons and he can face the bait as well, and he can say no over there, and he can slay that one over there.
Mighty word. Listen, I tell you, can you just picture, how loving, how strengthening it is that your husband is going to work in the morning, maybe before you're not working, that you rise with him. And I said, geez, I'm with the shoes. He said, baby, me not like the black one there. I think the brown one would. Oh, you look nice.
That one sorted with that
looks a
suit, and you say,
right.
listen, and you're telling
That
me,
is
let him.
affection,
Yes, man.
When you don't just allow him to go, however, not that him can't dress himself, but you give an opinion. Say, babes, I rather the blue blazer than the red one. Oh my gosh, baby, that's affection,
And if I were just to add that, so when you're doing that, it's not just like you say, it's not that he doesn't know. It is you letting him know that, hey, you see the blue one, when you stand in that one, you look like a king, and I love to see. So even in
Yeah.
how we tell him we're pouring in the
Yes.
affection. So
Yes.
I love when my wife said that, look,
Yes,
and he put on the suit
of
and say, "Hold it,
course.
baby," and say, "Yes."
Yes, and there are certain clothes maybe that it was never his style, but you try him. We want to
Yes.
say, "Geez, some baby, you look good."
Yes,
What
man.
you gonna realize that the next time he goes out to buy a blazer, he's buying the one that represent the one that you were
That's
talking
right,
about.
because he loves when he sees that
He-
look of desire
and
in your
that's
eyes.
making him happy.
Yes.
And guess what? In return, it makes us happy because he's taking our advice. He's getting us involved. Women must understand that in showing affection to your man, wow, it feeds you as
Absolutely.
well.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly. And in a relationship, this is what God is saying. You both need to understand your roles, know your place. And women need to understand that you are not weak or subservient when the word submission comes about, because God has placed you in a place of warriorship to protect your husband. Because like you said, you will have that co-worker where I try really mean. You may have the very friend who is my friend, but I try pinch at him. Or he may have that guy friend who wants me or is jealous of our relationship, which is pinching things. And we are human beings. Nail pierce we. It makes a puncture hole. Lies do the same thing. So you want to ensure you're the warrior at home. You're praying for your husband. Don't just seek, you have your secret prayers, but there are times when you need to lay hand on your husband. That's affection. Pray for him, make him hear the words. Let him know, God, I know you designed this man and he's a man of authority. Go before. Let him hear
Yes.
that those are affection.
Using the positive words, and whether in prayer or just lathering him with that affection that says,
Yes.
"Hey, I know this is you." And the interesting thing, that because you mentioned before about the with not in a healthy relationship, that these things that we're talking about, they do have that healing effect.
They do.
Yes, when you pour, when Elijah says, "Can dry bones live?" And say, when you're able to pour that love in a desert, you're able to see that desert come back and say,
Yeah.
"Wow,
Wow.
that man who you thought he wasn't," or people are looking and say, "Ray, blah blah,"
Yeah.
right? But when you're able to pour into him, Sister Judith, when we had a program on the weekend, she said, "You're looking at this man. You have your man at your home. You're looking at the next man over the road, and you say, he look. So you let go yours, and someone else pick him up out the road
Oh, Lord.
and pour into him, and then you see him
You
start."
better than where you were looking at, and you're like, "Oh, damn, could I go back?" And that is the thing. The grass looks greener on the other side, but do you know what they're using to get their grass green? Or could the grass be fake?
But what we need to learn how to do is to be farmers in our relationship.
Exactly.
Till the soil and pour
Yes.
affection into it, so we can have that green tree growing. Sound good?
That's why the husband can rise up and say, "Boy, this woman."
Call our blessed.
Hey.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, on to number 3. Madam Produce.
We withhold fun and playful.
Withholding playfulness. Wow. Tell me your thoughts.
I'm a playful person. Off the go. So I think I don't see how you can have a nice relationship without the fun part. I don't get how people I don't want to play. Or you come and you joke him and you say, baby behave now. Or he comes and he
Lick you on the bottom. Yeah, stop.
Oh my goodness. I think this is a given.
But what is it that causes that to dry up in our relationships though?
I think probably expectations not being met, and you're holding some sort of a resentment, issues that have not been the conflict has not been resolved, and so you can do that. And I also think it can also be a sign when you see playfulness, if it's something that you used to do prior. Because if I'm dating a guy, the guy I'm in love with him, and him no ram. That's just a red flag. Like, listen, if him not ramp, no.
He not gonna ramp later.
Him not ramp later, especially when big realities kick in. You get me? And we must remember, we are not fighting against each other. The desire is not for me to make you unhappy or you to make me unhappy. This is the enemy that we mutually have. So we need to understand the dynamics. Oh my gosh, if you're a man that feel like say you can't play, you need to talk to somebody about that, because playfulness is also a way of learning.
Yes.
While playing, I realize say, oh, the same time back, Robert love him back, and so I've learned something. So now I know if I want to. It just reach
you know
back.
the spot.
Exactly. As we look at animals and we look at them, the young ones, the cubs, they play with daddy, they play with mommy, play with each other, and you see they're doing the prowling and going on the attack, and it's playful for them, but in reality it's learning. So even for human beings, playfulness is a form of learning, and also setting boundaries, because you may play one like a roughish, so but while you get the wife or the wife is playing rough, now. So it's a form of learning. It's also a form of intimacy, that playfulness. And trust me, when you enjoy playfulness, it leads to not withholding sex.
Withholding and other things. So as we think about playfulness, and I mean, to bring some psychology into the struggle, then becomes, how do we as human beings navigate from the negative few things that hold us down? Sometimes, even though everything else is okay, because the light bill is on your mind, you're distracted and you can't play because you had an argument last night, there's no play anymore. How do we set these boundaries so that we don't let these things steal our joy and steal our playfulness?
And that's all communication. All communication. That's why it boils down to. So yes, the bills are there. Like see all we hostage. If I can use that word, but because you're a month out. You're disconnected. That's just their policy, right? So yes, you're mindful of that. You're mindful of these things, the everyday situations that you face. They weigh you down. And remember, again, we have an enemy that creates this ambiance. So what was maybe 2 pounds is now feeling like 20 pounds because of the ambiance. And we know our human weaknesses and stuff. But the thing is, God did not leave us without a recourse. He did not leave us to be ignorant to these things. And I do believe it's our responsibility to be armed with information going into a relationship. You're not gonna be perfect. You're gonna have arguments. You're gonna have pitfalls. But remember that conflict is also good. And the bill due and it's on my head. My husband come and he tap me on the butt or whatever, joke me in the side, and I say, honey, me not tell you no lie, me feel away. We now start. I say, Connie want me now? I say, boy, say I 4 days left, and I don't really get the money now. You know, light I go cut off what we are going to do. Here we talk. And you see, when we talk now, and the fact that I can tell him how I feel, and he can say, honey, me I work on it. No worry. Me I work on something. By tomorrow evening, we should be good. You see, when you have that now, you've communicated and you've
But what if
opened
I
up
don't
yourself.
have the answer? I don't have a tomorrow.
Well, that's the thing. Even if you don't have a tomorrow, my point is that you're communicating. Honey, don't think you're the only one who is stressed. Because it's my responsibility to take care of you on the home. So I am, me feel a way too. But in the midst of that, when we communicate truly how we are feeling, we're then able to take the other step.
That's an interesting perspective, and I appreciate it that, hey, him being able to say to you or give you the answer or tell you that there is no tomorrow may help you to navigate that a little bit. But two things are happening, not but. In addition to that, though, for the man, two things are happening. Him telling you that he doesn't have an answer can be a very difficult, very challenging thing because he knows that you're looking to him for an answer. And
Yes.
sometimes him telling you that he doesn't have an answer can actually cause you to be even more stressed.
True.
So he's trying to manage that. And then on the other side to that as well is he's also navigating the situation of, to give a one of my favorite texts from the Bible is actually what the three Hebrew boys says to Nebuchadnezzar, in that, hey, we have a powerful God. He can save us.
And if he chooses
But
not
if he
to,
chooses not to,
still good.
right? So I'm wondering if in the midst of the stress, I know you want an answer, but what do you think it may do to that man when you come to him, when you're able to come to him and say, baby, I love you, whether you have the answer or not, whether the light cut up or not, and if we look by candlelight, and me and you. What that does to him,
Yes.
to say,
Because
listen,
in reality, what you gonna do? Him Navi, you Navi. What I gonna do?
exactly,
Because I'm not telling him to go and steal.
exactly.
So we're just not alike.
There you go.
No, we have to come now and try to, Lord, merciful. But yeah, we're trying to find some fun to it, or I mean, it is a stressing situation because I can, I'm thinking still and recalling moments that I've had, like, oh my God, this thing is coming. I'm not getting a good answer. I'm irritated. But what I find works when I'm antsy, anxiety is taking me and whatever, and my partner says, boy, Connie, I don't know about tomorrow, but me know you feel and trust me. We're going to go through it. Boom. The fact that he understands my anxiety, sees why me touchy feeling,
Okay.
you know what I mean? And then it makes me pause, and this is me personally, it makes me pause and say, well, if he can understand how I'm feeling and we are communicating and he can say, me get you, then it makes me say, whatever.
So it's not even the answer for you as much as the connection that, hey,
Yes.
whatever the situation, he's let you, right? And in the same way, you letting him know that, hey, listen, we have some candle in the box or whatever it is. And I mean, again, touching on the psychology, what we found is that sometimes it's not searching for the answer that gets you there. Sometimes it's just taking that break, just kind of going, letting go. When you stop focusing on the keys that you're looking for, they just appear. When you stop focusing, trying to find the answer, it appears because you've given your chance a place to rest.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about in the household in terms of being able to create that peace.
And do you love each other enough that you would follow him anywhere?
That's the thing.
Even if it's out of the big house.
Even if it is out of the big house, even if it is through the dark, even if it is these situations, because sometimes we let so many things get in the middle of our relationship. The neighbors are going to see
the
the darkness.
lifestyle,
All of these things that other people are going to think, say, or do that cause us to be having an argument and having friction instead of going, listen, whatever it is, high or low, is me and you. Goodness or badness or sickness and health, all of those things, it is us.
I love that you said that, because in reality, many of the struggles we go through and the conflicts we face is not just when me and you feeling.
That's it.
Oh, wait, that one
Have
over here,
nothing
so
to
I
do with us.
Oh my gosh, is it
We
true?
are fighting because
It's
of the
true.
neighbor, the friend, the mother-in-law, the cousin, what other people think, say, or do, and that is in bit. Listen, one of the worst things to fight about is, my coworker said this, and now we're arguing about what.
Look how John can't. Look how Mary.
What do I have
But
to
you're
do?
not married to Mary nor John. Okay, and this is where you come now. And me, I go say, all right, go along over. Go along over Mary. Yeah. Which is not what you want to
Not
do.
what we want to go.
But this is so true. We live our lives in the shadow of people and their opinion. And this is what causes so much negative conflict. But if we can just do us,
Yes.
even if it's in the dark, let's do us.
Yes.
Because tomorrow, I'm sure God is going to make a way
Yes.
to get us out of the dark.
Listen, or even if you have the kids and you go, we have a camping trip now, you make fun of it. No, going back to play, you're able to take whatever situation that faces you. The gift that we give children, that hey, situations don't destroy us. We can get you're teaching them creativity, you're giving them strength to take on tomorrow, as we give our relationship strength to take on tomorrow. Because today is CUC, next week might be something else. It might be the mortgage, it might be money, or it might be someone trying to infiltrate the relationship. If we don't have that creativity, if we don't have that playfulness, that connection, then guess what? Anything push it on.
Exactly. And trust me, playfulness eases anxiety and stress. You'd be surprised. So, ladies, if you have a man that don't want to play, sorry.
Or gentlemen, if your wife not play with you,
Sorry.
rough.
Rough.
You need to talk to somebody.
Yeah, you're both. No, it's a serious thing. You have to.
Yes.
You
Ramping
have
time.
to. All right, you have to ramp.
What I'm produce?
The fourth biggest way that we withhold is appreciation. Our hard work. We don't appreciate their kindness, their thoughtfulness. I had a client not too long ago, a male client, who he put up a fence in the backyard for him and his wife and worked really hard at it. It was not something that was natural to him. And he completed it and he was so excited. And he went to go get his wife to show her. And she came out and not a thank you. Wow, I can't believe you did this. Nothing. Her first comment, it's not even over there. That was a conscious and malicious behavior to withhold from him and not give him that appreciation.
Yeah.
The fifth,
What are your thoughts there? Appreciation.
Listen, listen. Like I said, it's like watering a plant. Appreciation is just an amazing thing, and when we brought that out when we're talking about showing affection, just to appreciate the person, because when we're talking about the cooking and whatever. Now, if you know that your husband is not a carpenter,
He's not a yard man.
he's not a carpenter, he's not a farmer, but when you go there and you see him went and him buy up some plant and him set some tree round the back, you be like, honey, this is so good. Don't worry about the fact that the coconut shouldn't get close to the house or the whatever. What you want to take in is the fact that his mind and heart was in the right place. You were top priority. I'm doing something that she likes, and this is not my normal thing because I'm a bookworm, but I'm going to go out there and build the fence. Oh my gosh, it is. I don't even know the word to use to kind of make it, but it behooves you to show appreciation. Honey, it lean over there, so who cares if it lean? Or honey, this is not the right color. It doesn't matter. We can do adjustments later. Here is the current and present and most importantly, priority. He put a fence. Implant 2 tree. First thing and foremost, honey, who help you? You did this by yourself, and you make a big deal. Then you go in and you mix a little lemonade or whatever it is, and say, boy, honey, and and you sweet him up. Listen to me. For anybody, even a child, when you show them appreciation, you see that they continue to do the thing that pleases you. I sat down one day, for example, at work. I thought about my son, And I went online and looked for loving words for sons. And I printed them and I cut them and I made a big card and designed them. And when I came home, I placed it on the table for him to see it and whatever. And he got so emotional when he was reading it. He's so emotional. And, I find he'll come, Mommy, you okay? Mommy, you want this? And he's an affectionate boy. So I find even with my son saying to me, Mommy, you all right? You want something to drink? I get that appreciation. So now it in turn makes me want to do
More.
things for
And-
him to feel, and then
Circle. You do, he does, you do. We're outdoing each other because
yes.
we want that positive attention instead of getting into the cycle of negative attention.
Right.
And we're trying to, who can withhold the most.
right. So if he spreads the bed and the sheet clean, I said, I like your attempt. This is so good, nice. Next time, just jog over yourself. Because I'm talking about me to a child, because you're correcting. But I don't think you should spread the carpet out and then pull it from under them. Appreciation must be the paramount thing for the current
Yes.
thing. Adjustments can come later.
And it's interesting that you said that, and I'm glad you brought it to your son, because we can recognize these things clearly with children. When the child comes and they went and they created this nice picture, and you're like, wow, they're not Picasso, listen, it is macaroni on a piece of paper with some ink. What are we talking about? It's
And my
not
head
that
big.
it's not that much. It's not that awesome, right?
Yes.
But you right away understand that you want to affirm this child so that you can strengthen and create and help them to grow and develop. But for some reason, when it comes to us, we don't think we need to do
don't
that
think
anymore.
we need
We
to do it.
expect each other to come fully formed. We expect ready-made. We expect to just walk into Costuless or one of these stores and
Pick
just
up a
pick
perfect
something
one.
off the shelf. And if there's a defect, I need to return this one.
And here's how so unrealistic this is, because if you were to do you and God, you would want to say, God, remember send me you, man. Have a God thing. You know what I mean? So the same way you want God to show you some understanding and give you some grace, it's the same way for your partner as well. And you may be right,
No,
the situation.
not even me. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right. That thing that the child drew was foolishness. You are right. But that was not the point.
That's not the point. You're looking at the fact of where the person's heart was. And the fact that you were their thought. I'm doing something for you. And yes, him draw my head big, and me hair a certain way. And I'm like, yo. But here's the thing. It's how he sees me. And to him, this is beauty. Right? My husband heard me say, I would love a fence. And of course, we don't have the money to go buy enough carry no man come in to put up a fence. So my husband went and took one of his personal days, go out, set up the fence. All right, so I lean one way. But it's perfect. You know why it's perfect? Because it was meeting a desire that I had.
Absolutely. And I want to take it even a step further in that, like you said, maybe you had the money and you could have given it to someone else and you did those things. But here's the thing: I can go back and make money, but when I give you of my time and myself, that is something that you don't get back. You can't get your time back. So when someone gives you of their time,
Right.
that in and of itself, they're actually giving you their life, because this
lovely.
time that we have together, we never get this back. So being able to share this time, we're sharing each other with each other.
My gosh, listen. When someone does something for you, you must understand it's the thought that counts, versus the physical thing. Because when someone is thinking about, when you see somebody come and carry one cat, come give you, or put up a fence, or carry 2, 3, 4, it meant that you were on their mind. And I'm thinking about how I can make things better for you, how I can make you happy. I'm trying to make our environment happy because you're in it, and I want our marriage to work. So I'm thinking about
Yes.
you. It doesn't mean it's going to be done to perfection. And if there are flaws, appreciate them. because the next time you won't have that flaw. And we're not perfect.
And that's the thing, growth, because we do understand that with the children. Okay, you encourage them, next time they're going to go, okay, fine, I see the line wasn't straight, mommy loved it anyway, I'm going to tweak it, and before you know it, they are running galleries, and because you help their talent grow in the way that it did.
Exactly. And the thing is, when I know, I don't care what George says or what Melanie says, I know what Robert thinks. That's what boosts me to continue. And even when the negativity comes in, and I'm feeling like I want to give up, and he comes and he says, Connie, really? You know you're amazing at storytelling. Don't let nobody tell. Girl, come, sit down, make we talk. Give me a story. And in boots.
And you feed each other.
Exactly. And you appreciate the person because the person thinks that you're their world. So you have to place your husband in that place so he feels appreciated, that he is a center of your world, and I am here to protect my world.
That's right.
And I think this is the mindset that we need to have. I need to protect my world from spirit, principalities, and from physical beings.
Absolutely. Understanding that, hey, his brain, his battlefield, the mind, if his mind is off, then he may just go into work today and make a mistake and lose the job, and then CUC come for the light, and then they come for the house.
Exactly.
So you are protecting him by making sure that all that is within your power to do to help his mind to be in the right place is done. So if something else happens, let the devil work it out or whatever, work it out, but I've done my part to make sure that he's going out the best that he can be.
Yes. And if we do our best, I'm telling you, God will
do the rest.
Reward you for your best. But the thing is, you see, Robert, we must be honest, to know that I did not do my best, and to be able to admit, say, I want 40, me did give them, really give the 100. You see me? And once we can admit to where, we fall short, then we can then find solutions, honorably find solution to fix it, because you are held accountable, not to me, but to the higher being.
And interestingly enough, that it's important for that to happen without the other person having to point it out. So just like you said, when you went out there and you saw the fence, you knew it was lean, but rather than focusing on it being lean, you focused on the fact that he did that. He can then calculate with himself and go, you know what? I see it lean enough. I appreciate that she said it, and I appreciate that she didn't say it, but tomorrow I'm going to straighten the fence, because you just gave him more energy to say, hey, I'm going to go out there, and because guess what? I like what you gave me just now, So imagine if I straighten it out.
Hey,
and we start good. So now I'm trying to get that extra, just like what you said with your son. You gave him the note, and then he started giving more things. So, hey, let me get more, and you wanted to give more, and that cycle continues.
And what if he knows that it's lean, but he was rushing to put it up so he can show me?
Yes.
Because his plan is, he might go fix it.
Yes.
But he bring it up fast, so
So
he can.
we're doing something. I didn't want you to come home and not see a fence.
So me put something in fast. I know it lean. You don't need to tell me. You just don't know. So ladies as well, give him the benefit of the doubt. I know that he's not a kid. You didn't, unless you are a jackass and got married one jackass, and it wasn't perfect. But think about it, that your husband is doing something that he thinks is worth the attention, because it's one of your desires. And let's not look at the imperfection or the flaw. Look at the fact that he was thinking about you. Show him the appreciation. Then here comes the playfulness. Here comes the affection. And of course,
and we just keep it going. Keep it going, right?
Exactly.
Which brings us to the fifth one. What is the fifth one, Madam Produce?
Biggest way that we withhold is we withhold respect, which is very important to a man in a relationship.
bitching, as she said, I'm venting with my friends. What are your thoughts on that one?
We have to be careful of that, though, you know, because in reality, you will have some things that I may not say to you, that I can share with Ellie, and but key thing first before I even go any further, we must be mindful who we share what with and what we share. Because it is not a good thing when you share the negative of your husband and then that person has daily interactions with him. They start looking at him through your eyes, and maybe just a moment of miscommunication, misunderstanding, one like a flare off thing, and that is not him 100. So now somebody out there takes that 5% and creates this other person, or start looking at him, treating him out of 5%. You must be mindful. And of course, you're going to have your days when you need to talk, you need to vent, and so forth. But be careful with whom and how much, you know. And I think it's really ridiculous if I go to your mom and I'm telling your mom some things, you know, while your mom could be one of the best persons to speak about some other things. So that is why I'm saying you must be mindful of the things you share, what you're sharing, and how much you're sharing.
Absolutely. And I came, when as I looked at this one, I had two thoughts, because I have this philosophy, right? When you're upset, you should have some people that you do talk to. And my philosophy is those people should not be your friends. Those people should be loyal to that person.
Okay.
So if I vex with you and I'm talking to your mother, right, then there's a higher likelihood that she will help to navigate me away from those negative feelings, because she has a more full and complete image of you, and be able to say, hey, well, you know, Connie has this and that and whatnot, or these things are happening, or, you know, when she was growing up, these things are, and so, and maybe able to give me some clues as to how to better navigate the situation, as opposed to my friends who are, yeah, man, left the woman, you see, a foolish she going with, right, who will help you to continue down the negative path. You'd want to talk to people who will help you to find a positive spin on the situation, to help you to get back, because the two of you are one. The people that you want to talk to will recognize that and want to get you back there.
Put a little plaster to it.
The other part to that is making sure that when we just like you said, when we share those things, we are balanced. Because there's a tendency for us we need to vent.
We show my side.
We show the negative things. But then the fence that he put up, the other things, we've never shared those things with anybody.
Now we're creating this thing off of 5%.
So the image that we're transmitting to even his mother is, he's this negative person because all I share with you are the negative things.
Right, exactly.
And not the positive ones to give. And just like you said, to the co-worker, whoever it is, whenever we're sharing these things, because we're sharing this imbalance, we are now a part of the enemy, because we are now reflecting a negative image of the person that we are in love with. The people that may start want, but you're fool, so but you go find yourself with.
It affects you in turn, which you don't understand. So you must be mindful. And on the term of respect, last show we talk about, you know, we were just chatting and we were saying that, you know, what if I sent pictures, loving pictures to my husband? Do I want my husband to open those pictures in front of his friends? Absolutely not. I don't want them to see my lovely pictures.
There you go.
But I want them to see that
the look on his face.
And we went even further to say, okay, what if by chance he had to have you on speaker when you call, and how the people hear you talk to him, those who are in hearing, talk to him, you either build him up or tear him down. When I'm now venting how I make the people look at my husband and moving forward is also a form of respect. That's as right. Well. because yes, I am angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm upset about something that he has done. Yes, I need to vent. But even in that, remember, you're not slaughtering him, you're slaughtering yourself.
That's it, because the two of you are one.
And so we might be misguided to think that I'm getting support from them, and but no, people are looking at both of you like, yo, those two are ridiculous.
Yes.
And all you want now is to get more for entertainment, for gossip. So it's never to help Robert and I to get back.
That's it. That's it. Because they're happy to hear that he's worthless, and now you're stupid. But they're not going to tell you that you're stupid, because guess what? They like the mix up.
gossip,
That's their
yes.
entertainment.
That's their
The cable cut
entertainment.
off, so no, you are it.
And I love this little saying that people love heroes, but what they love more is when the hero falls.
Yes.
So you're having a good marriage and things are working out, and they say, oh, I love the fact that your marriage is working. Oh, nice. And she has a baby. Oh, sweet. They have a good job. Nice house. Things are going good. But when I come now and say, why, Robert no moving shoes every minute, he left his shoes and they do it. They want now to see areas where
Yes.
your marriage now is no longer, that example. So they want to see the era evolve.
And and that part is so sad, because here's the thing. As human beings, we don't like to work hard. And if your relationship looks nice because you're watering your garden well, then that means mine could be nice too, if I watered my garden.
Of course.
But if yours starts to show some brown spots, then I said, see, the watering don't work, and then I can be, okay, fine, I can be lazy again. But we're all called to be better gardeners. We're all called to work harder. And so if we can get past that, then we can get back to ourselves and we can say to ourselves, hey, we started this relationship together. My job is to protect you, which means I need to protect you from me. Protect you from me talking negative things about you and portraying a negative image about you. Because here's the thing, and we put ourselves in an uncomfortable situation in that if we do resolve things.
Hey, and this is a thing that we always find ourselves in, right? My friend
Yes.
will come and tell me, oh, Robert this, Robert that, and whatever. Me have a Robert, now the
Yes.
friend, Then Robert and she back together, good and normal. Me over here, so still angry.
Yes.
Hello. Persons will have conflict, and you will find yourselves as sounding board and sometimes a shoulder to cry on. But understand that you're just for the present moment for the conflict.
That's right.
What you need to do is add some plaster, add some iodine, add some disinfectant, add a little whatever, antiseptic, antibiotic, whatever. Send them on their way. But you see, that is why you have to ensure you're talking to the right people. And women need to understand that not everyone that smile with you is your friend. Them want your man.
And even if they don't
Especially
want
if
your
your
man,
man
them
look
don't want
good.
you not have the man.
They no hit if the man look good, them want the man, and if they insist that the man is a dedicated man, not looking in for them, they would want to create an avenue that you don't have the
him.
man. So
So
me
two of you
can't
can be
get
miserable
into-
together.
That is why God made us the warriors. So we protect the center of our world. And when we're in a marriage, the man is the center of our world. So we have to protect him.
That's right. That's right. Lady Ellie, 15 minutes. Let's see if we can just watch the rest of it through, and then we can just kind of wrap it up.
For the 5 main ways we withhold: sex, affection, fun and playfulness. They're supposed to be for us and how they're supposed to make us feel. is a trap because it can never happen. And to me, the saddest part for good men is that our husbands buy into our blame of them. We blame them for our own feelings of emptiness, our own unhappiness, our own unfulfillment in the relationship that we believe they're creating in us. So we blame our husbands and we tell them the laundry list of demands and expectations we have of what we need them to do to make us feel loved, from writing love letters to doing things around the house without being asked, to reading the books we want them to read with us, to saying words of affection, the different, I don't know all of them because quite frankly they don't work, the love languages, and just the myriad of demands and expectations that we have and we give them. And a good man will try to do those things. But because we have that emptiness and lack of love within ourselves, no matter what they do, it can't be done the right way and it can never be enough. And then a good man buys into our blame through the withholding that they are the problem. And there's something wrong with them that they need to fix or they need to be doing, that then will finally be happy and be nice and give back and reciprocate in the relationship. And it never happens. It never happens. And that's then where a good man feels defeated. And he'll either keep trying and keep trying or keep trying. Or he throws his hands up and essentially says, F this. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I stop doing. It's never enough for her. I'm always wrong. I'm not enough. And that's how we make them feel. And the withholding, it is incredibly vicious and wicked and the cruelest thing that we do to good men. And we do it in other relationships as well. And I think it's really important to recognize that it's an expression of withholding from ourselves. The things we don't provide to ourselves to show ourselves that we are loved, that we are important, that we matter, and filling that emptiness within us to be whole within ourselves, and then bringing that wholeness into the relationship. And again, these are the behaviors we have to see. We have to get exposed so we know what we actually have to work on and what we actually have to change if we ever hope to be happy, if we ever hope to feel loved, if we ever hope to have a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship with a good man.
And right there, I thought
go
it
with-
was interesting in how we started. We started the conversation by talking about how we can outdo each other in terms of being able to love each other. But there is that segment, there is that idea here also that says, what if you don't know how to receive love? Because even though I'm trying to outdo you, you can't see it. And you can't see it, and so you're always looking for it from someplace else, and so you feel that, hey, if you tell me that it was lean, then you'd give me a target to hit at, but then even if I had it straight, you'd say the color wasn't right. And so there's always something else that needs to happen for you to feel loved, and so you never feel loved. And what do we do then?
That is a sticky boy. That's living in a dark can that is being shaken with outside hands that you have no control over. Because the reality is, if something is defective, it's not going to work the way it was designed to work. Many of us going with baggages, and I do believe, and the thing is, if somebody tells you who they are, believe them on the first go. Yeah. And I do know we tend to wear our mask and hide who we are on the getting to know you portion. But we are so quick to get into this relationship, and that when signs are starting to show, for whatever reason, we will overlook them. And so we miss it, because guess what? You see, this woman or this man that you can do nothing right or correct for and by will tell you prior to the wedding. But you would have missed it. You would have missed it. Now, people will say, no. But I do believe that when we are can I use the word, well, let me not use the word judge because it's not judging them. But if we're going to measure them on the basis of what God says love is, that love is blind, it's not puffed up, doesn't think unseemly, is not all for himself. And so when a person now, when you're measuring the person against the dynamics of what God says this person should be bringing into the marriage, and you realize on the onset that they're not bringing that, then this is where you're caught. You don't bother buying yourself to, because you will think you can fix her. You may think you can fix him, but you are not in the fixing business because you were never in the creating business. So it's only the manufacturer, the designer, the creator can fix the thing. Here you are now is that you now have to learn how to actually use the device.
Yes.
And if it is defected, don't think when you wrap no duct tape around it, it'll go be better. Carry it back. Now, we've now passed that because you and I in the marriage.
Yes.
And we can't get the love. I think the only advice I could say is get a professional person to assist you and work you through this, because sometimes it's issues from the past, experiences of the past the enemy used to bind us so that we can't go into this future. And then now you have this nice person, this good person that's willing to go with you the extra mile. Lord, you make the thing burdensome. But then again, if you don't acknowledge the fact that it is your responsibility, whatever your baggage, that you're to make that individual's life on earth as happy as you can, it will, when you take that accountability, that's your responsibility, you will go and get help, because you know exactly what your problem is.
It's your responsibility to check your bags.
Of course.
Not theirs. It's your responsibility to check your baggage. And if something in there that is going to get you stopped at TSA, it's you're the one who needs to fix it. You're the one who needs to pull it out.
Yeah.
Because these things will affect the relationship. So if you are with someone who, no matter how you put the fence up, no matter what color you paint it, or no matter how you cook the rice, they just can't be happy, then you have to check yourself right there, and they have to look. You have to have a conversation that says, hey, something's off here. Because whether we get it right or not, as we said before, shouldn't be the focus. The focus should be, how are we pacing towards doing things for each other? Whether we accomplish them or not is irrelevant. Are we pacing towards actually doing things for each other so that we can bring joy and happiness into each other's life? And if that is not the measure of what we do for each other, then something is off. And like you said, we need to get some professional help. So with that, some parting words for some people who are listening, and let's split them up into the groups: the men who are listening on the other side and the women who are listening. What would you say to them after we've looked out at all of this?
As always, my thing is that you give to receive. And I just want to for both sexes is to understand that once you've decided to come into a mutual agreement with another person and you've married, you're now one before the Lord, remember that God is holding you accountable for how that person feels in this life. And you must understand that you can be a direct cause for your partner to make it to heaven or make it to hell. And if you think that's a joke, I want to, swiftly inform you, it is not. And little things get so big when the heart and the mind is in the right place. Remember that for any person, either side, if you're withholding something, withholding doesn't fix. Withholding only makes the hold and the situation bigger and deeper. But you want to ensure that you're thinking about yourself. How is it going to affect me in the end? Because if I don't make Robert happy, will I be happy in the end? Will I get my expectation at the end of the day when I don't make you happy? Or do I build him up? So at the end of the day, I am happy, I am proud. And remember now, when you also have children in there, you are also setting up the children for success. The way you deal with your partner, the way your interactions are. So I want to think about that. Think about tomorrow, because today may seem hard, but tomorrow is set from today.
So what are we doing and pouring into tomorrow? Is that making tomorrow easier or harder? I love that you said that. And I also want to add to that as we look at these things, and you framed it perfectly in that, hey, let's think about it from the perspective of investing into tomorrow. Let's also think about the idea of, what if you are successful? You're doing the withholding of all of these things, and so you're beating him into submission. What happens if you are successful? He does bend to your will. Do you still want him?
No. Because we are going to say he's a weak man.
Then why are
And
you?
he's unattractive. Women don't want men that are weak. We want men that are strong. Men can only be strong if you feed them to be strong.
So if you beat him, you want a strong man. If you keep beating him, you're not going to want him. So that which we are doing is not helping the tomorrow.
No.
And with that, men, if you feel beaten, you need to stand up, because women do want strong men. So let's split that up into groups. If you are on the verge or before you get into a relationship, be all that you can be, so that you can understand yourself, so that when you do get into those relationships, you can set those boundaries and be clear, and so you can look with your eyes open. Will this person, this woman, help me to get into the kingdom, help me to move forward, help me to slay dragons and block away all those temptresses out there? Or is this someone who is going to leave me at risk to being eaten by dragons or being tempted by deceivers? And once you're able to do that, then you're able to walk into your tomorrow. And if you are in a situation that is already challenging, then you also want to figure out who you are. And if you've been beaten, you want to learn how to stand up. You want to learn how to stand up chest out and start representing that woman. If she does love you, she'll respond. If not, then she might not be the right one.
Then you move on.
And we move on. And with that, we move on to next week. Connie, what are you talking about tomorrow on tomorrow's show?
Tomorrow's going to be an exciting time. I'm talking about your vagina.
You're talking about their vagina?
Yeah, not mine. Last week it was my vagina and I. But we're saying, no, your vagina.
Your vagina.
But really and truly, we'll be talking about your intimate area and going into menopause or during menopause, how you care for that intimate area and how you can still enjoy it.
So somewhere on the screen we'll put the link, so that tomorrow's video, you can just click on it. You're watching this video, you can just click on just watch Connie's video and learn more about your vagina.
Your vagina.
On
just before you go to your bed. Yes,
every
indeed.
week at
7 p.m.
right here on Flashpoint. And with that, we say until next time, this has been The Wrecking Trade.
Of men and boys in college classrooms, the absence of men in the church, and the absence of fathers in the home. Join the conversation as we help men find their place in the modern world. Through engaging interviews with experts and members of the community, we provide a clear picture of what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men, to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in and join the conversation on The Wrecking Trade. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of men and boys